Minutes after 7, and the station you're tuned in, if you didn't know, is Joy 99.7 FM, and it's a Tuesday. And the moment you hear my voice and you hear that soundtrack, you know we're about to talk tech. That's why there's a whole lot of glitches, in that hard. Well, what should I even call it? What kind of genre is that? Trap step. Yeah, trap and dubstep mixed up. So you know that, yeah, there's some new age, very advanced minds in the studio with me. And last week, if you were tuned in, you probably heard us talking about robotics and children, young people who were doing amazing things. And why, as parents, if you're listening, you should also endeavor to inspire or motivate your kids or steer them towards robotics. Today, we're going to continue that conversation, but we want to hear it from the young people's perspective. Because, hey, it's one thing for someone to come and tell you that, hey, let your child study robotics, or you need to study robotics so that you can be positioned for the future. But we want to hear from the young people who are studying these things and how it's impacting them, how it's affecting them, and how they feel. And maybe that could inspire you and your kids, if they're also listening with you, to want to study robotics. And joined with me in the studio today to continue that conversation is Benedict from last week. Hi, Benedict.
Hello, Spiky.
Welcome again.
Thank you very much.
But this time in the studio. Now I'm not looking at you in the screen, I'm looking at you in person.
Yeah.
And Benedict came with Huda. Hi, Huda.
Hello,
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Yes, and then if you're watching us on Facebook, as we always are, we're live on Facebook and on Twitter and on YouTube. You would see that we've got some bots up in here, some robots. I can see wires, I can see buttons, I can see tires, I can see sensors. Am I right? Are they sensors?
Yeah.
See, I know my stuff. Anyway, so Geek Squad is brought to you by MTN. Choose your own bundle, your own way with MTN Flexi Bundle. Just dial *138# and enjoy bundles that don't expire. So you can watch us live on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. And joining us via Zoom, we also have Amir Dasuki. And he's on Zoom. Hi, Amir.
Hi.
How you doing?
One thing. I'm doing
Great,
good.
great. So we're going to be having this conversation. First off, Benedict, I'm not going to be talking to you first. I want to talk to these young people because they're very, they're doing amazing stuff. What I'm seeing here, Huda, what's your full name?
My full name is Huda Karoom.
Right? And how old are you?
I'm 12, turning 13 this year.
That's interesting. How long have you been learning robotics?
I've been learning robotics for almost 4 years now.
Wow. So you were about 9 when you started.
Yes.
That means right now you can create the next Terminator or Robocop. Or you're programming the next. Which robots is, what's that name of the robots that can talk to people? Her name, she's a female. Sophia.
Yeah.
You're planning on programming the next Sophia, right? Okay, Amir,
Yes.
how old are you?
I'm 8 years old.
Wow, how
I'm
long have you been programming robots?
I've been programming robots for 1 year.
For 1 year. That's interesting. So you started when you were 7.
Mhm.
Great, great, great. So I'm going to be asking you, Huda, how far have you gone in your robotics study?
When I was 9, I joined my school's team for the FLL, the first Lego League, and I was the team captain, and I think we competed to almost the finals, but then we lost. So that motivated me to try more
Right.
things.
Okay. So what made you want to learn robotics before the Lego League?
So my brother was in the team,
Mm-hmm.
and I just saw him doing really cool stuff with robots and programming them. So I wanted to try it out.
And then you tried and then you loved it.
Yes.
So far, this is how far you've come to building. What's on the table next to you?
The Rotec rover.
Right? What does it do?
So basically, if you can program it to basically do what you want it to do.
Okay. Like.
Like, it can sense black lines and stop, and it can push things, and it can actually like show on the screen
Okay.
some words.
Okay, so you can program it to display stuff on the screen.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. So this was last week we talked about robot building kits. This was a kit
Yes.
that you bought and then you had to put together.
Yes.
So you did this all by yourself.
It was actually just the robot, and then I built up on top of it.
Okay. So you added your own features
Yes.
to it. That's great. Amir,
Yes.
so
Yes.
how far have you, I'm asking you the same questions as I asked Huda. How far have you gone in your robotics career?
I've only been doing it for 1 year.
Right. And so far?
And I really like it. It's great.
So what made you want to build robots?
Legos.
Typically.
I love Legos. I have so many of them.
Sorry?
I love Legos and I have so many of them.
And that made you want to build robots.
Yes.
So what's the most interesting thing your robots can do?
Well, I can use the remote control and control it.
Okay.
It can push objects, it can follow a black line,
Mm-hmm.
and so much more.
Okay, that's very interesting. Now, are you also part of did you also take part in a Lego competition?
No, I didn't. I was too young.
You were too young, but you're planning to join very soon.
Yes.
Great, great. So, Huda, I see your laptop on your lap. Is that what you use to control your robot?
Yes. I use the software called Mixly.
Okay.
Mr. Benedict introduced me to it,
Hmm.
but I was using a different software for the Lego League. I don't really remember the name because it's been a while.
So how easy was it learning the software? Because you have to first learn how to build the robots, right?
Yeah.
And then you have to learn the software as well. So which one was more difficult, learning how to build a robot or the software?
I think the software was kind of hard
Mm-hmm.
because I actually had my own robot before I joined Mr. Benedict's club.
Okay.
I had a EV3 Mindstorm, and I built it a few times and took it down. So it was kind of easier to build than to do the programs.
That's interesting. So I know how robots and computers can really be frustrating when you're programming it to do something and then halfway along the line you're telling it to go left. It will do everything, it gets to where it's supposed to turn left and it turns right. That can be frustrating, right? Have you ever
Yeah.
experienced that?
Yes, I have.
Mm.
Like, coding is fun and everything, but sometimes when the robot messes up, or like sometimes my laptop shuts down because it's not familiar with the program. So I'll have to like restart everything. Then I'll get like angry because I've worked a
So
lot
hard.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of frustrating, but then at the end, like, I'll be happy with how it came out.
Mm.
Yes.
So what do you think all this process of learning how to build the robots and program it has taught you?
It has taught me patience, and like it has taught me not to give up like after something has failed. And it has taught me how to be creative too, like building up the robot. Yeah.
Amir, I'm coming to you.
Yes.
Yes. So, what did you also go through the same frustrations that Huda went through,
Yes, I did.
and you still do?
Yup.
So how do you get over then?
Well, normally I would save the program
Mm-hmm.
so that anything that I lose, like when my laptop restarts,
Right.
I can open it again and keep working on it.
Hmm.
I think it's a very good method.
So what has that taught you as a robot builder? That whole process, what have you learned from it?
It's taught me to never give up and keep trying and trying and trying again.
Hmm. Do you have your robot around you right now?
Yes, I do.
Oh, it's a similar one to what we have here. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so Benedict, this whole process, I've heard so much about teaching them resilience, especially because we know how computers can frustrate you, and then you feel like smashing it. But when you think about, hey, if I smash it, what am I going to program with next? So don't smash your stuff. Amir and Huda, don't smash them. I know it can get frustrating. Besides this, what other things have these young ones been learning from, building these robots?
I mean, they have learned. I believe they have learned, as they keep on saying, they need a lot of patience.
Yeah.
We've also learned how to work around. I mean, fixing errors, because it's with these errors you realize that there's always a way to solve it, and there are always multiple ways to fix a problem or to arrive at a solution. So, for instance, when we're working on a final challenge where Huda was on one session working on her challenge at home, Amir was working on his challenge at home, you could see that Amir was taking a different path, Huda was taking a different path, and we're like, oh wow, so this is how you did it? And she's like, okay, so I can also do it this way, and they keep on learning that there are multiple ways to arrive at the same solution. It's about how creative you are. So they've built on their creativity, and they've learned that there's teamwork as well is really important, because there are times where Huda has been like, okay, mine is not working, Amir, how did you do it? And Amir was like, I did it this way. Oh, okay, so can you teach me? Like, okay, yeah. So they've learned teamwork by working together, and then being able to solve the challenges that have been put in front of them.
Right. Amir, how is studying robotics different from your all day schoolwork that when you go to school you study? Is it any different?
Yes, it's very different.
Is it more fun?
Yes, it's very fun. First thing is that homework is actually something that I don't want to do, but robotics is something that I want to do and not forced to do.
So you wish all schoolwork was like robotics?
Yeah.
So what is it about robotics that really interests you?
Well, when I build things, I really just enjoy it. It just makes me feel so good. It just makes me feel so proud of myself for completing something.
Interesting. Huda, same question for you.
Schoolwork is like harder than robotics, like, because as he said, you're not really like forced to do it, and robotics is more fun. But like, I like to go to school to like learn and stuff, but then it's different with robotics, because like robotics is, I think it kind of teaches you the same things as school, like to be patient and to like work together. So I think it's kind of similar, but then I would prefer robotics.
Which one is more difficult?
I think schoolwork.
Specifically in school, what subject would you say is so difficult you wish it was like robotics?
Science.
But science isn't robotics.
Yeah, but like like animals and
the biology part of science, yeah. So what do you want to do with robotics when you're grown up?
I want to learn like computer science.
Right.
So I think like coding, is a part of robotics and computer science. So I'm trying to learn more coding, so that when I grow up, I can hopefully have some like a job that has to do with
Robotics.
yeah,
Yeah, that'd be
robotics.
cool. Amir, are you
Yes.
also? Do you also not like biology part of science, or there's another subject you don't like?
There's another subject I don't like, which is grammar and comprehension.
Why?
Because I just don't like writing. Just frustrating me.
You wish you could type every day, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So let me ask both of you. Amir, you first. Do you think that the subject that you study in school that you don't need to study?
No, not really.
You think every subject is important?
Yes, I want
But
to be a pilot.
you want to be a...
aeronautical pilot.
I didn't hear that. If you could come again.
I want to be an aeronautical pilot.
Right. So then that means that everything you're studying is important.
Yes.
That's great. But you just wish it was as easy as robotics.
Yeah.
Who are you two?
I think it depends on what you want to do in the future. Like, for example, let's say you want to become, I don't know, a technician or something. I don't think you really need like that many languages unless you want to like travel around the world. So yeah, I think it depends on what you want to do in the future.
Right. Okay. Well, we'll see. So, what kind of robot do you dream of building? Because you say you want to do computer science and stuff. So that means that you want to go fully into robotics. Now, what kind of robot do you dream of building in future?
I dream of like making my own robot, like kind of like a helper.
Right.
So basically like a robot that can, let's say, carry your stuff for you, but they can understand you, but they can't speak back. They like write on the screen
Why don't you want them to speak back?
because they'll become too much alike with humans.
Interesting. So you don't want it to be a humanoid. You want it to be like a robot. So it's just helping you, but it's not too much like a human.
Yes.
That's very interesting. So at least those who are afraid of robots taking over the world, Huda's got you. Her robots will not talk back. They wouldn't tell you that they won't take instructions. They will always take instructions, right?
Yes.
That's brilliant. Amir, what robot do you dream of building in the future?
I dream of building a solar powered robot that cleans garbage from the streets.
Nice. So you don't like the garbage on the streets?
Yes, I'm learning about the environment in school. It's very bad to pollute the environment.
That's interesting. But will your robots be able to talk?
No.
So you're also not building a robot that's going to take over the world?
Yeah, I don't want to just to go to people and just talk rubbish talk.
But have you both heard of artificial intelligence?
Yeah, I have.
Amir, have you?
Yes.
Do you
Yes.
plan on implementing artificial intelligence into your robots in the future?
I don't really like. I don't really know. Like, I have to learn more
Get
about
there.
AI.
Sure. Amir, you probably also have to learn more.
Yes. Mr. Benedict is having a course in the summer, which I'm going to join about artificial intelligence.
Great. So, Mr. Benedict, your name has come up again. This is what I'm going to tell you. How did this all begin with kids learning robotics? I don't like calling them kids because I feel like, I like calling you young people because you're young. So, how did it begin? Tell us.
For me, it started from a passion I developed myself. I started getting to programming in junior high, actually. And in senior high, I realized there was something like a robotics club. That was Presec, Presec Robotics. And
Presec, shout out to you. I'm sure Dennis Fairboy is smiling and showing all his teeth.
Yeah. So I picked up an interest. I realized that robotics is a way in which you can solve many solutions.
Right.
I mean, look at any solution out there. You can find a way to use technology to use robotics to solve it. And I realized that as we go along, it's not going to be those who are so old who are going to be the ones aiding us in solving these challenges. It's actually those who are young like me or younger who develop these skills early have more time to be able to solve these solutions. So from working with kids, from working with I'm working with these young students, as I was going along, starting with my juniors and training them, I realized that giving them the opportunity to learn this early also helps me because I get a wide network of young people who I can work with to be able to solve these solutions. So I thought, why not teach them? And that is how this came about for me.
Right. So for the parents who want their kids to enroll into robotics, where do they start? Because I'm sure if your school does not teach robotics, or if you don't have a robotics teacher who comes to teach them, you're probably thinking, how am I going to start?
The first thing for robotics is the interest. You need to have interest, be it from the parents comes up to me and be like, oh, I saw this, I'm interested, I want my child to be interested as well. Or a student goes like, mommy, I want to learn this, it looks really cool. That is the base, like the first thing. You need to have the interest, because after you have the interest, you need to get in touch with an organization that does teach robotics.
Right.
There are some that just train towards competitions, and there are some that sell robot kits, and there are some that teach, like my organization. After getting getting in touch with them, I'd say you should sign up for probably maybe a weekend or a summer program, because you don't want that to interfere. You don't want that to interfere with the classes they do have. And then it's one last thing that I feel is really important for every parent to do is sit in an intro class to see if what these guys are going to be teaching, whichever organization it may be, is really knows how to interact with these students, and also knows about the course content well enough to be able to deliver it. So after that, I believe, you're ready to go. You see how far your kids want to dive into this.
Great. Yeah. So Geek Squad is brought to you by MTN. Choose your own bundle, your own way with MTN Flexi Bundle. Just dial *138# and enjoy bundles that don't expire. We're taking a quick commercial break. When we come back, there's more.
Hey, my phone is broken.
We've all been here before. The moment when your heart literally stops beating and you see your entire social life and savings flash before your eyes. Yep. Your phone just fell and you are frozen in fear, awaiting the post-mortem reports to find out just how badly your phone is damaged. But now, you no longer have to panic when your phone experiences liquid or accidental damage, thanks to MTN Device Insurance.
Just install the MTN Device Insurance app, fill in the details and make payments, and experience the peace of mind that comes with knowing your device is insured as you continue to enjoy the most amazing 4G Plus experience only on Ghana's fastest network. Visit MTNDeviceInsurance.com or download the MTN Device Insurance app on Google Play or App Store and get your phone insured today with device insurance powered by MTN. We there for you everywhere you go.
It's 11:15, not the time, but where we are at today. It's been quite a journey for entrepreneur Harrison Mati, but now he knows what time it is. This week on the Joy Business Van, we're at 11:15, a prestigious restaurant and entertainment center he set up after years of trying to figure out a business that would work.
My mom ran a chop bar, and I was the youngest among 3 boys. So we are 3 boys, 4 girls, and I was the youngest boy. So I was usually the person around, helping with cooking and anything that she needed an assistant with. So I picked up a few of the tricks from her. Then when I went to university, I cooked a lot, so I figured out that, I had picked a lot of the traits from my mom, so I could be a good cook. I tried monetizing that on campus, but it didn't work. Then, fast forward, I graduated from school, looking for a job, nothing was coming up, and I said, okay, why not start a food joint and then see what I could do.
We'll hear more on what Harrison is doing with 11:15 this Wednesday on the Joy Business Fan, on TV, radio, online, and on ground. It is powered by Joy Business and supported by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
When you lose data, you lose business, because these days data is the backbone of your business and you have to keep it safe. Our resilient and highly connected MTN data centers now allow you to easily store and access all the essential data your business churns out every day. With MTN Data Center, you don't have to worry about data storage anymore. There's a team of expert staff available and backup power on hand, which means you can access your data no matter what happens. Your business can't go a day without data. Call 0244 308 111 to talk to one of our relationship managers, or send an email to mtnbusiness.gh@mtn.com, or visit mtn.com.gh/business today. MTN, everywhere you go. See, that was a lot for me to read. I wish there was a robot that would read this for me. Just feed the paper into the robot and it reads it in my voice. Yeah, it shouldn't use its own voice. But since Huda is not going to build a robot that can talk, I don't think that'll be a good idea, right?
Yeah.
So I was reading this, my producer shared this with me, and it says the skills that children develop through robotics education. Number one was creativity and imagination, which Huda mentioned, teamwork, which you both mentioned, learning from mistakes, wow, self-esteem, and critical thinking, proactive spirits, and adapting to the future, very important. Self-assessment of their own performance, they've mentioned that, and motivation for learning. And then finally, developing new ways of communicating. Seems you guys have got all this covered. So, I mean, yo, Benedict, why didn't you tell me this when I was younger? So I would have learned how to program robotics. And I would have been sitting here. Anyway, let's just cut to the chase. I'm seeing robots here. And as far as I'm concerned, when we hear robots, we're thinking you need hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy a robot. Right? So these little ones here are probably like, what, $50,000 each?
No.
Oh, no. So how much is one of these?
Okay, so what we have here is the Rotec Rover, called the Rotec Rover. It's an Arduino-based robot that will be branded for my organization, which we call the Rotec Rover. We can get this for about 600 CDs from us. And this is the M-Bot by Block, which is a set you put together, which is 1,000 CDs, which you can get from us. We are distributing on their behalf as well. And you can also buy from Amazon and AliExpress and these places. Yeah.
But if they don't want to spend that money, they just have to.
Yeah, you can just.
And when we're done, you share your contact details so that parents who are interested in letting their children study robotics and learn how to build these can get in touch. Now, Huda and Amir, I hear you guys are top of your class in these robotics programming and all that. That's awesome. And you came here as celebrities and you didn't tell me. I would have asked for your autograph. Anyway, before we're done, I'm going to ask for your autograph. Amir, you need to send me an autograph. So when you both become famous in future as robot builders, I'm like, when they were young, I interviewed them, right? That's awesome. I'm really proud of you guys. So I want you to demonstrate for me, Huda, your robot and what it does. Amir, can you demonstrate yours too when I ask you to?
Apparently not. I really wanted to, but then since I haven't used my Rotec Rover in such a long time, it's having a few problems.
No problem at all. But I still know you're the best in your class, so that suffices. So, Huda, show me what your robot can do.
So basically, this was a program I did I think a year ago.
Okay.
So, like, over here, there's a sensor. It senses the light and dark.
Okay.
So, it's called the photoresistor. Yeah, the photoresistor.
Okay.
And, like, when you put your fingers up there, I programmed it to make a sound and for the LEDs to go one by
so
one.
you programmed that.
Yeah.
So you programmed it that when you touch it, those lights and that sound comes.
Yes.
Right. So what's happening when you put your finger there? It's blocking the light.
Yes, it's blocking the light from the
sensor.
Yeah.
Okay, so then it's sensing darkness,
Yes.
and that's when it gives you that signal.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Thank you.
So with that, if the robot is moving in the daytime or in the room that's well lit and the light goes out, those lights are going to come on.
Yes.
So then it's going to tell you that the lights went out. So that means this robot can be working in a factory, making sure that the lights are always on in places where there's not supposed to be darkness.
Yes.
That's very smart. Cool. What else can it do?
I'd have to upload the program onto it.
Ah.
But then I can show some
text.
Yeah, I can show some text. But I don't really know what to write.
So write anything that comes to your mind. Well, Amir, do you want to tell her what to write? Since you guys are a team.
I wrote something on my project program. I'm not sure if you can see it. But for the first one, it says Joy 99.7 FM.
Oh, that's interesting. Nice. Your robot is giving us, a shout out. So shout outs to your robots. What's your robot's name?
Robotic robot.
I thought you'd have given it a name. Oh, you haven't given it a name yet?
I haven't given it a name yet.
I'm sure when you start programming it to collect rubbish, you give it a name. Do you have a name for your robot, Huda?
No, not yet.
Okay, so what are you going to write now?
I'll write Joy 99.7 FM.
Cool.
And then
upload it.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Now, what this means is that, well, anyway, if you're watching us or if you're listening to us and you want to see what's happening in the studio, you can watch us on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. And you can tweet at us with hashtag Joy Geek Squad. And yeah, you can send us a message on WhatsApp as well. 055 997. I'll repeat 055 997 or 055 quadruple 997. Yeah,
Okay,
so Huda's robot is going to be showing us some text. Yeah, I can see it. Joy 997 FM. That's cool. So yeah, Huda's robot can write stuff, and it can also sense light, and it can move objects, as you mentioned. That's cool. So, Benedict, back to you. This is awesome. Now, how long would it take for, a young person who's going through this robotics studies to get to the advanced level where now they can program autonomous robots and all that? Because we seem to think that robotics are quite complicated. But judging from what I'm seeing, it's actually a very easy step to climb.
Yeah, it is. For Huda to get to what she's doing right now, I just took her 8 sessions.
Wow.
Which is, we try to spread it during the weekend. So once a week, she had 8 weeks of training, right? And she had 2 weeks to work on the final challenge. So basically, she just had 8 sessions and then just two challenges to work on. And then she's doing this. And that's for, our basic course. As we're going further, she's going to be doing more building and whatnot. So by the end of this year, Huda should be probably doing some bigger things than this, taking part in some.
Are you excited about this, Huda?
Projects.
Yeah, I am.
Amir, are you also excited?
Yes.
So what do you think by the end of this year? What kind of robots do you think you'll be programming? What do you think your robots will be doing differently by the end of the year?
I think my robots would probably have some more things built up on it. Maybe to push stuff instead. And then I think that I would be able to add more things, or to add up on what I have learnt already and then put it all into one mission.
Amir.
Yes.
So what do you expect yourself to be able to do by the end of the year?
I expect to have more attachments on my robot.
Same as Huda.
I also expect my robot to be doing more things.
What do you want your robot to be able to do?
I want it to move faster. Maybe it can bring my water bottle. without spilling it.
Without
And then
spilling it. Benedict, you hear?
Yeah.
You have to help Amir's robot to bring his water bottle. You have to help Huda's robot to move things out of the way. I'm sure you probably want to move some things in your room to one side so you can have space, and you can't do it alone. So your robot will be helping you. All right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Benedict, I want you to tell us what are some of the topic areas for the kids who are learning robotics, and how can it impact their schoolwork?
So one of the major things that we've looked at is the topic of computer science,
Right.
which is really important. I believe one of the fundamentals when they're learning is computer science, learning how to program things like conditional programming, things like understanding how the microcontroller works, how to program these sensors to understand how a robot interacts with the world, which is the basis of almost all robotics. Also, another thing they learn is basic electronics. So they get to learn how to the power goes through a circuit, how to connect motors, how the current works, these kind of things, and how each of these sensors actually works in the circuits. In terms of mathematics, they get like basic geometry, how shapes work, how to calculate the circumference to be able to know how far the wheels are going to turn to reach its destination. In terms of physics, they get a lot of understanding of forces. When we do get in, as we do get into more of the building, you need to understand symmetry. When how you build one side of the robot should be symmetric to the other side. You need to understand that the force of gravity should be centered in the middle of the robot. You need to understand the friction to be able to know how fast the robot is going to move. So all these principles are stuff that are learned in class. And once you do robotics, like a convergence of all these into one because of how it's multidisciplinary. Okay, so these are the kinds of topics that they get to learn, and these are just a few of them. When you go to the advanced, some of these high schools are learning basic calculus in it to be able to program the sensors to calibrate themselves and flow lines, things that are used in assembly lines. They are doing it in small robots.
Nice.
You get it? Yeah.
So all this stuff is both theory and practical.
Yeah.
So it's not just practical, it's not just theory.
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. Yeah.
So for someone who doesn't love math, I know some people are like, when they think about robotics and they think about the math aspect of it, they're like, no, I don't want to do robotics because they're afraid of mathematics. Have you ever experienced this, and how did a person overcome the fear of math?
So you're talking to me.
That's interesting.
Well, the thing about robotics is it gets to a point where you need to learn what you need to be able to get your robot to do what you need to. And the best feeling is the outcome. So it may get to a point where you feel like, oh, in class, it's dull to learn this topic. But once you get that this is going to be practically implemented, you actually implement it. It changes your whole perspective on it. I mean, who can sit down and be like, I like calculus, because it's quite difficult. But when you start seeing your robot being able to predict the lines that it's going to meet to be able to move in a perfect manner, as though there is no sensor that is just moving, you get to understand that these things are practical, and it's really cool. So it takes your mind off the fact that it's math. You get it. You just get to calculate the circumference and it's moving. You're like, oh, so now I can be able to put in this variable and I'll be able to reach my destination. So your mind goes off and it becomes fun all of a sudden. Yeah.
So is math fun for you, Huda?
Not most. Like, okay, most of the time it is, but not that much.
It's fun when you're doing it with robotics.
Yeah.
Amir, is math fun to you?
yes, it's very fun. I'm at the top of my class in math.
Oh, and is that because of robotics, or it's because you just love math?
It's because I just love math.
That's interesting. But you don't like grammar and proficiency. Okay, so Benedict, what would you tell parents who want their kids to learn robotics? Or what would you tell parents in general, not even those alone who want their kids to learn robotics, about robotics?
I would say give your child the chance to explore. Because, I mean, at an early age, you wouldn't know whether the child wants to go into STEM, what exactly they want to do. And it's a good way to be able to get them to decide exactly what they want to learn. So you give them the opportunity to try things out and get to figure it out. I have a student who was like, well, I want to go into sports after learning the robotics. And I have Huda and Amir who are like, I still want to do robotics. So at the end of the day, you need to have that chance to explore to see.
Yeah.
And in the end, you always get to pick something from it, because technology is implemented everywhere, even in sports. You get it.
How long does a class in robotics last?
Well, our basic class is an 8-session class. Okay. We during the weekends we spread it across 2 months, but with the summer we'll be spreading it across 1 month, and we'll be having the basic and the intermediate class.
Okay.
So in there we'll be looking at 2 months. In about 2 months, you should be able to build what you want to do, program what you want to do, and we keep you on. With our academy, it's a progressive thing. So Huda and Amir don't stop because they finished one class with us. We keep them as an academy, and we take them through competitions and challenges. They actually took part in an online challenge, an online competition, a national competition, and they didn't do badly. They did well.
Wow.
Okay. So that is what we are looking at, building them up, and they can do great.
Great. So we're still taking messages on 055 1111997, 055 1111 997, 055 quadruple 1997. So Kobby, please ask your guests on the show, why does those developed country kids find more interesting in IT than Ghanaian kids playing games with phones? Do they also have in class for the youth as well? Spiky, my Google Pixel 3 phone. Douglas from DC, this is your signature. One day I'll surprise you. So yeah, Benedict, why do the kids in developed countries find more interest in IT than Ghanaian kids? And Ghanaian kids are always playing games with phones.
I think it's 2 things. I think number 1 is exposure. They get to see a lot of these things implemented.
Yeah.
They have very complex machines and machinery all around, automated tasks. They go to school and they don't even need to. They can just put on their finger or swipe a card and it's in, but we are still using the keys to unlock. You get it. Yeah. They have these things and the resources are there. You go into a normal lab in developed countries in the US and whatnot, and these labs are fitted with everything you need to build whatever you want. Right. But we are still getting there. We are moving, and these are the kinds of implementations we need to be able to reach there.
Right. Huda, have you seen a real robot?
Like a bigger one.
Yeah, like a bigger one. Anything bigger than what you've been building?
I haven't really seen like a human-sized one, but I've seen a few that are like bigger than this.
Okay.
And yeah.
And they're interesting.
Yeah.
What could they do?
They could actually like carry stuff. Like some of them have like, let's say, an elevator or something. So they carry some bricks, some Lego bricks up, and then
they
put them somewhere. Yeah.
Okay, cool. We've got more questions. So how do we get kids in the rural and deprived areas to learn these skills as well? That's Bronx from East Legon. So Benedict, that's a huge one. In Ghana, the moment you drive 1 hour out of Accra, there's no more development.
Yeah.
Now everything becomes rural. How do we get those kids included in all this stuff?
So what I would say is we can either get organizations involved in this to sponsor, because definitely we are going to be using kits that you need money to be able to get to buy. Or, you can find a way to work with the government, because there are some organizations that are doing that. She mentioned First Lego League, right? I'm the head of the judges of the First Lego League, and after 4 years, now Ghana Education Service is involved with it.
Nice.
So they have been able to give these kits to schools, and now schools, over 30 schools around the nation, are going to be taking part in that competition. Nice. So these are ways in which we can involve them.
Great. So how can I get my kids enrolled? She didn't include her name. That's another question. So how can I get her kids enrolled?
Well, you can just go to our website, rotech-academy.site, okay? And just look for the portion that says register here, and just fill a form.
ROTECH-academy.site. So we'll put it on Facebook under the stream. So if you're looking for it, we'll put it there. We've got some more messages. Let me read them. Please, how do we contact Benedict? And how much will it cost for the basic package? That's from Samuel Ofori. So how do they contact you?
Just you can reach me on WhatsApp and you can call me as well on 0266 072626. That's 0266 072626. And for our basic package, that is the basic program, it's 800 CDs. And it's an 8 session program.
Right.
Yes,
And
like
if
we
you want to
mentioned.
go on,
If you want to go on, yeah.
And then AC from Tema is asking, please, what is the recommended age a kid can start robotics, and how do we get in touch? I think the latter part of the question has been answered. But what's the recommended age a kid can start?
Earlier we were starting from 8 years.
Okay.
But now we are working with an organization that is going to help us teach AI to kids as little as 6 years and above. So we are going to introduce that as well. Having kids
Geek
start from
Squad
6
beware.
years.
We're going to have 6-year-old taking over our show.
So yes, so from 6 years and above, from now on you can register with us. Yeah, and we'll take it from there.
Right. So Amir and Huda, and I'm coming back to you. I want you to advise the young people who are not learning robotics. I'm starting with you, Amir. What advice would you give the young people like you who are not studying robotics or who want to be studying robotics? All you'd like to tell them?
Just go for it and have fun. And you just get to learn new things and have fun. And never give up.
Never give up. Huda, what would you like to tell the young people?
I would say never give up, because sometimes it will be frustrating. Like, you could lose your work and stuff like that. But at the end, you'd be satisfied with the accomplishment that you have gotten. So,
And so to make you feel better.
yes.
And do you want more kids to study robotics?
Yes.
You wish robotics was standard in educational system?
Yeah.
Amir, you too?
Yes.
Great. I can see you guys are having fun with your robotics. And what would you like to also tell parents? Because your parents allowed you, but some parents are not allowing their kids. What would you like to tell parents?
I would say, like, you should encourage your kids to learn robotics, because it enhances their, like, I guess it enhances their knowledge. So, like, if they join robotics, they start to get more patient too. So, yeah.
That's nice. Amir, what advice would you give to parents?
I would like parents to introduce their kids to robotics so that they can think about other stuff other than schoolwork.
Okay, cool. So parents, you heard it from Amir and Huda. Let your kids study robotics. So make them more patient, and they won't spoil their toys. And it will also let them think about other things other than schoolwork, right? So Benedict, any final words?
I think me and Huda have said, majority of, what needs to be heard. It's really cool to learn robotics. You can do a lot of cool stuff. And this is just the basics of what they have here. You should see them in 1 year's time, because we are going to be doing a lot of more cool stuff, and every year gets more
I'm bringing
exciting.
you guys back in a year. So I'm setting a reminder on my calendar. Huda and Amir, just so you know, a year from today, I'll be interviewing you again to see what you're doing more, better. Will you be available? Huda?
Yes.
You'll definitely be available. Yeah, Amir is also giving me a thumbs up. Cool. So, yeah, you're saying.
Yeah, so you can do a lot of cool stuff. And as I said, the core of robotics, what we are trying to teach is to solve problems. Even for the challenge they solve, the theme around it was trying to get a robot to do some of the tasks human beings do.
Right.
Even with basic tools they have, they are able to try and then get the concept of that. So as we go along, they learn more complex stuff, and they get to be able to use these tools that we keep giving them. More tools they get to use to be able to solve these tasks. So give your child the opportunity to solve problems around them. Yeah.
When you mentioned, building the robots, you mentioned that you learn the concepts of electricity and the circuits and everything. That honestly was very interesting to me because it goes a long way to help them later on and stuff that they're learning. What did you learn from robotics? Because you've advanced far. That has really like improved what you do on the side besides robotics. What did you learn from programming robotics? They said teamwork and creativity, but I know you've probably gone beyond that. So what did you learn other than that?
So what I've been really interested in doing is trying to merge emerging technology with what is already there. So for instance, I heard about IoT. The next thing I decided to do was build a smart parking lot.
Smart parking
lot. I've heard about 3D printing, and now we are introducing 3D printing in our classes. There's a mini traffic light that the kids are going to program the lights, the light bulbs. They get to learn how to design. They get to learn how to build all these things. So at the end of the day, the kids get to build whatever they want in the end, and this is just the basics, So I am looking at how to incorporate emerging technologies in what we do, and I've learned as well that how to think outside the box.
Right.
What is a problem put in front of me? We're looking at how feasible is the solution, and what other ways can I use to solve that problem? And that is allowing me to be thinking outside the box and find a way to solve that solution. So I think that's one of the major things I've learned through my journey, and giving me a lot of opportunity and a lot of exposure. So
I like that.
Yeah.
Now, when you showed me this traffic lights, the first thing that came to my mind was, a smart traffic lights. Because sometimes some traffic lights go green and there's no cars there. Traffic lights should know that there's no cars there and be red.
Exactly.
And then not let there be too much traffic. I hope Huda and Amir would take this idea and make something out of it. I want a smart traffic light. That's all I want from both of you. Do you promise you're going to build that for me?
Yes.
You do? Amir, you're going to build that? Thumbs up. Thank you. So we have Huda's mom here. And Huda's mom, you're proud of your daughter, I can see. Just give me a thumbs up. Very proud. She said she's very proud. And we're also proud. So I'm going to round up. Thank you very much, Amir. Thank you very much, Huda. And thank you very much, Benedict, for not for coming, but for training them and making them these advanced robots programmers. And next year, I'm definitely going to be looking forward to seeing you two again. So, shout outs to my producer, Prince Safo. Thank you for making this possible. Selwyn, thank you for tweeting. Dennis the fair boy, we gave you your school shout out, so I'm sure you're happy. Ezekiel, you're there, I can hear you. So, yeah, give me my last commercial break. And then, my name is Kobby Spiky Nkrumah. Thank you for listening to the show. If you missed it, it's on Joy Online, myjoyonline.com. Just go there. We have Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, and it's also going to be on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. You can tweet us as #JoyGeekSquad. We haven't mentioned our t.me/JoyGeekSquad on Telegram in a long while. So join our Telegram group, t.me/JoyGeekSquad. Up next is the news.
Hello, welcome to the headline news at 8 with me, Ernest Mina. Now, Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Jean Manson, has announced a raft of electoral reforms. They include an ambitious goal of ending voting at 3 p.m. instead of 5 p.m. This came up at a 2-day election review workshop with political parties and other